Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right. You listen to Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Connor, how you doing?
I'm good.
You've been staying out of trouble?
Yeah.
How's school? School good?
Yeah, I'm still on summer break.
Is it? The it sounds a little cloudy, like the headphones a little cloudy or something. Is there settings right?
Yeah,
Sounds a little.
maybe the volume.
I think we got new headphones.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah. Anyway, it's got different vibe to it. Well, folks, we're going to get into a show tonight. I've got a guy I have a lot of respect for, Ramel McMurray, and got a well-known boxer, retired boxer, Adam Richard, going to join us. My buddy Kerry Farr. A lot of folks know Kerry Farr with a TV show called In Your Corner. Kerry used to do Club Knockout in Laverne and Smyrna back in the day, and he owned Universal Health Spa. Kerry's a great guy. I'm assuming he's listening right now. He used to be in Zig Ziglar's Sunday school class. And remember, Zig Ziglar was a motivational speaker, and Kerry was in the Sunday school class. But Jeremy Smitson, how you doing?
I'm good, Mike. How you doing?
I missed you at church.
I was working. I was working overtime. Not overtime. It was my scheduled weekend to work. So.
Oh, okay.
Do they
Yep.
tax you for your overtime?
I don't think so. I may be wrong on that. Mr. Santucci.
David. Mhm.
Yeah.
He's listening.
Just make sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Roger, you had a couple things you want to get.
Yeah,
before we
Mike.
get into Ramel.
Going to give a real quick thing we got going on. And this doesn't affect you at all, okay? But this is something Sam Davis home.
Okay.
You know, the Creek House where we had the chili cook-off. We've had it
Yep.
both areas. You know, the main office up there and the Creek House. Well, it's going to be a new business in there now at the Creek House. It's called
really?
Miss Polly's Tea Room. It's opening August the 6th. And the tea reservations are available Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 2, and Saturdays from 11 to 4. And like I said, it won't affect what we do at all. We do it either side like we normally do, you know. So when you rent it in January, we're still good.
You'll be good.
Yeah, you're good, yeah.
Yeah. The have y'all thought about doing anything, expansion over there or anything? Is that?
No, but this one, you know, the way the rentals are nowadays, you know, it's so much. We used to be the only place you could rent.
Yeah.
For,
Oh, yeah,
for
back
an
in the
event.
day.
Yeah, now everybody does it.
Yeah.
And so we're not keeping it. We can
Well,
make
Smyrna,
more
the only
of it.
thing you had was you had the old Bonanza. You had a little room at the Bonanza.
Yeah.
Ponderosa, and you had Shoney's had a little room.
Yeah, and that's really it. And like
Because I
said,
remember when my mom was from Scotland, they had that British club back in the 70s, and they'd meet at the old City Hall.
Yeah.
Right there by the old Chevy dealership. And there really
Yeah,
wasn't,
yeah.
or other than the Methodist church, people would meet the Methodist church a
Yeah.
lot.
But like
you know.
I said, as far as if you want to rent it for a birthday party or anything like that, that's about the only place. But now
Yeah.
everywhere, it's all old kind of places. So to make some money off of it,
Yeah.
you're doing this. But the Creek House is still there. It's going to be called a tea room like it was
Yeah.
originally.
Good. Well, y'all got an event over tomorrow. I think Pettis Reed's going to be, I don't know if he's speaking or just there. I think they're talking about Nathan Bedford Forrest, his raid.
That was actually
is that tomorrow night?
they
at
actually
Sam
did
Davis
the
home?
first part of that over at the Oakland's mansion, and this is the second part.
Is the second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is yes.
Who's this?
Hawkins, Brett Hawkins, I believe.
Okay. I don't
yeah,
know.
he's
That starts at 7.
I believe so.
Be interesting, you know. Ramel, one thing I wanted to get in with County Commissioner Ramel McMurray with us. You're also the chaplain.
Yes, sir.
You like being a chaplain?
Absolutely. I love it. 4 years ago, when I was elected, my peers, they asked me if I would be honored to do so, and this is what I've done it for the past
Yep.
4 years, and so it's just a personal way for me to usher in and ask God to guide us and lead us
Yes.
in our decision makings every
Yes.
single meeting.
Y'all, well, you came out and helped with the Pray for Tennessee event Thursday.
I did.
Didn't have the crowd we had last year with John DeBerry and I think Joe Carr was there. Man, we had a good crowd last year.
Yeah, it was a pretty good crowd.
You were there, and I think we would have been 25, 30 people.
Yeah, we did. We did. But sometimes it doesn't matter whether it's 2 or 3 gathered. That's all that matters.
Amen.
But yeah, 2 years ago, last year, we had a bigger crowds. But for some reason, it's the weather could have played a factor because it did rain
it
right
was
before,
raining.
and it became real hot as well. But no, it was a great event.
Yeah.
And every
Well,
time
I like that you asked some of the kids to come up, and we prayed over the kids, prayed over the teachers,
Absolutely.
and school children, and it seems like our country's kind of gotten away from that,
Yeah. No, I decided right before I prayed. I was tasked to pray over our students, our teachers, administrators, on the city level and the county level.
Yeah.
There was a group of a few kids there, and I just asked them to come to the front, for them to stand and represent the students, and just prayed over them. We want to make sure that they'll have a great, successful school year. No weapons are found. No drugs are on the campus. So we're firm believers, especially in my house. We pray all the time, and the more you pray, the more power that you have over the enemy. And so,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't think you wouldn't think it's controversial, but it just came to mind. I remember years ago we opened up. I was county commissioner then, so that had to be. No, I think I was at the state level, and we just opened Stewart's Creek School, Stewart Creek High School, and Larry Flowers called me, and if folks know Larry Flowers, Larry's a great guy, and Larry knows about this, and he called me. He says, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and I was already speaking out against mandated sprinkler systems because home affordability is already at its worst level.
Yeah.
And all that does is add, roughly $10,000 cost of a home. What was ironic though was when I questioned everybody who had a sprinkler system, 0 had them. The 2 people with their hands up and asked to raise their hand, it was lobbyists.
Right.
And I'm like, am I the only one that sees this? So Larry calls me. I think he's calling about that issue. He was calling me. He said, Mike, there was a prayer to school. And I'm like, okay, prayer to school. And I said, man, I said, look, I didn't do the prayer. I was another county commissioner.
Right.
He said, well, can you do the interview? I can't get a hold of that guy. So I'll do an interview.
Yeah.
And I said, Larry, how does this make news? I said, who complained? He said, oh, nobody complained.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how does this make news? And he tells me, he says, Mike, I have to do what my producers, news producers want me to do. And I said, Larry, I know you're a Christian. I can sense you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Just certain people you can kind of sense
For sure.
they're a believer. And I said, man, you need to leave. You need to leave Channel 4, And I done the interview, and I hope Larry's listening because I love Larry. And he had to call D.C. He had to call some left-wing group in D.C. Had to call 600 miles away to get a quote from somebody to make a news story. They create controversy and division, and I can prove it. There's an example. And if folks don't believe me, call Larry Flowers, interview him. And here's what's cool. About 2 weeks later, I seen Larry. I was in front of the governor's office. Larry comes running down the steps. Larry comes up to me. He said, Mike. He goes, Sparks, hey. He said, I'm leaving Channel 4. I'm moving to Channel 2. I'm moving to your area. I'm going to be able to vote for you.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that not cool?
That's cool, yeah.
Then his daughter became
cool.
a star basketball player, and our church went over to pray.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you may have been over at Parkway Baptist. We were over, and I said, look, I told Pastor, we need to pray for Larry Flowers' daughter. He goes, man, we got to pray for all athletes, not just Larry Flowers' daughter. But that's what kills me with the news. Yeah. But you wouldn't think
I was there.
Prayer is controversial.
Right.
But it's also a thing called the First Amendment, and it's first for a reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, any chance that, I can pray openly or privately, I'm going to do it because, it's a conversation between me and the God I serve.
I had a lady come up to me after, and she said, let me ask you something. And she kind of, I knew she looked familiar. She said, which governor candidate is going to bring people together like that? And I happened to see Teb Beatty, and he was about 100 something feet away.
That's right.
I said, Teb, and I hollered, Teb, come here, I got a question for you. And that lady asked Teb, and Teb looked at me like, why'd you do this to me? And I said, man, there ain't no governor candidate going to bring people together. I said, this country's going to need a revival to bring people together. There's just too much
It's a lot of division that's going on over the small, petty little things that just separates people. I've been door knocking since the second week in May, and over 4,000 doors,
Wow.
And we have a lot more in common than people realize or think.
Yeah.
But it's just a few that controls or tries to control the narrative and tries to divide everyone else. Especially on the local level. So for me, this is why I'm running for re-election. This is what I want to continue to do, and I'll keep door knocking and talking to those in District 19 that I represent. So
I know
that's the Blackman area, kind of.
it is on the Blackman side. I go a little bit going towards Franklin. I also have just a slither of Rockville and a little slither of Smyrna. So I kind of have a long stretch. I have
some area.
I have some Representative Sparks area within my district, along with Representative Stevens and Representative Rudd. So I've got a very diverse district. So,
Everybody pretty nice.
They are. A lot of people have enjoyed me coming to their door.
Yeah.
Because 4 years ago when I ran, they would always say, "Who is my county commissioner?" Or "No one has ever come to my door." And so and when I ran, I said I wanted to try to change that narrative.
Yeah.
And I think I've done a great job trying to do so, being accessible to those.
Yeah.
I still have more work to do because you just can't reach everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But I've still, even to this day, some people kept saying, "You're the first one that's come to my door." I've lived here 30 years and no one's ever come to my door. And we appreciate that. And by you doing that, we're going to support you because you're putting in the time and the effort and the hard work out here in the 90 degree weather, heat. And by you showing that you're going to come to my door, we know that you're going to continue to fight for us and do what's best for District 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, y'all have got a lot of challenges facing. You got a new jail, you got the landfill, you got new schools to build, and
We do.
I mean, boy, you really need not only power of prayer, you need some miracles to be
Absolutely.
be manifesting themselves.
And I think we'll all come together. That all the new commissioners in the next term. We have a new county mayor that's coming in, so I've already heard and felt the positivity from commissioners on working together, moving our county forward. I brag all the time. We're the best county in the entire state of Tennessee. We're now the fourth largest county. We have to treat it as though we're now the fourth largest county. And so we can't continue to do things we did 15, 20, 30, 25 years ago. We have to do what's best now and look forward.
Yeah, well, one thing I remember, I think it was Reagan said, "A man get more accomplished if you don't mind who gets credit for it."
Absolutely.
You get a lot of people that get a lot of egos, and when I was growing up, the word pride wasn't a good thing. Pride came before a fall, and you see excessive egos, excessive pride, and I see it. I mean, you see it online. You just see human behavior. To me, has become very fascinating when I see how people act and react, and you have some of the nastiest campaigns. It's like, Jesus, man, you're not running for president. I mean, it's like you're running for the school board, running for county commission.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
It's almost comical.
It is. It is the way you say it. But for me, I want to continue to bridge that gap in relationship between the county commission and the state delegation as well. I know several when we first
you
got
get
in
along
there.
with everybody.
I do, and so it's important to have that working relationship with you guys, the state delegation, along with working with city officials within Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, Eagleville, and Rockville. So I'm going to continue to be the man of the people. I answer to the people and not politics. I'm going to.
Well, you're everywhere.
I'm going to continue.
You're like Jim Tracy.
Yeah. Well,
Jim Tracy had like a clone.
Yeah. Well,
even Shane Reeves. We were somewhere the other day, and Shane was kidding me. He's like, "Mike, I just wanted to say hello before he bounced on out of there." But one thing about Jim Tracy, God rest his soul, I thought a lot of Jim. Jim, he could show up and he'd be everywhere, and all of a sudden, boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
But he's at another event.
Well, I'm kind of glad you said that because I want, and that's the people in my district. They know me. They know what I do, what I've been doing the past 4 years. My character speaks for itself. My hard work and my dedication to my community, and people that's not in my district, just like you stated, they know that I'm everywhere or I'm doing things not just for my district but the entire Rutherford County. I did it before I ran for office 4 years ago, and I stated that I was going to do it while I was in here for 4 years, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Amen. I know you've done it well, Ramel McMurray, our chaplain, county commissioner. I appreciate you, brother.
No, appreciate
you. Always got a great attitude. And we got to find something to disagree about.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
I don't know. We can go let's go eat and
we'll
find
do something, man. We'll just argue about something.
We'll try to figure out a restaurant to go in.
It'll be about a car or something, I promise.
We'll argue about a car. Well, speaking of restaurants, before we close out, what's your favorite restaurant?
Ooh, I don't know. We we try to support local. We're
Yeah.
big local, small. We love the Alley on Main.
Alley
Alley
on
on Main
Main.
and Goodness Gracious. Those
Okay.
are probably our two go. Yeah.
All
Our
right.
go-to.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Thank you, Romel McMurray.
Thank you.
I got Adam Richards coming on.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available at select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Want a flawless look without the wait? Step into the Vanity Zone in Smyrna, where upscale style meets everyday convenience. Specializing in precision cuts, color services, waxing, and more for men, women, and kids. All delivered by a highly trained stylist with an eye for detail. And don't miss the signature hot towel refresher, the perfect finishing touch that leaves you feeling clean, relaxed, and ready for anything. Walk in or book now the Vanity Zone in Smyrna. Looking your best is always in style.
All right. Connor, what happened to the Village People?
Copyright law.
Copyright law.
Copyright strikes.
Oh, there's a thing called copyright law. Anyways.
For 4 years he'd be doing it. But hey,
Get a little
Mike,
DMCA,
what is-
DMCA strike.
We'll get Mike to start doing it his version.
No,
Can you do it that way?
Hey, they had it going on back in the day now.
I thought it was better to ask for permission than
No, forgiveness and permission.
Forgiveness, yeah.
Right.
Well, tell Brian
I
Barrett,
did that
Bart
while
Walker that, you know. I've always kind of lived by that, but I guess when you get into FCC guidelines, you got to be careful,
Yeah.
you know.
I can
So
understand.
Adam Richards, how you doing, man?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah, you were with us about, what, 2 years ago?
I would say so. It's
Yeah.
been a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now you live in Houston now?
I live in Houston. Well, the Woodlands is about 30 minutes, 45 minutes from Houston. It's kind of from here to Nashville.
Oh,
It's
okay.
From where I live to Houston.
Okay. Now, Adam Richards, folks may not know you. Now, Carrie was explaining to me that you and Evander Holyfield, you were the 95, 96 amateur world
Yes.
champion?
Yes.
Boxing
90
champion? Okay.
90, I believe that, 95, 96, 97. Then I was the junior world, which I had knocked everybody out for 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
So I'm the only one ever to beat Mike Tyson's knockout record now.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
So when I had knocked out a Cuban and I knocked out a Russian, once I had knocked the Russian out, I had beat his record by one knockout.
Really?
That's a flex.
So in the amateur book Hall of Fame, like I'm right there under his name.
Yeah, cool.
Be
So
careful of the questions you ask, Mike.
Okay,
Okay, I'm in the middle of you.
Did you ever meet Tyson?
I did actually. I was involved with him when he was in Memphis right before he got the face tattoo. So,
Oh, really?
But believe it or not, I mean, he is one of the best mentors I've ever seen in my life. He would tell me stories about the 1930s of fights. Like he would just love watching old fights.
Tyson
And,
did?
He did. He's the one that actually critiqued my left hook. He'd always told
Yeah.
me 6 inches from the face, knuckles in. So when you hit somebody, you're throwing your whole body's connected. You're
Yeah.
almost one, and you could tell a huge difference when you hit somebody when you feel it going down your forearm.
Well, who first motivated you to get in the gym and learn boxing?
Well, believe it or not, I got into boxing because I walked pigeon-toed. And the doctor had told my parents to put me in a sport that taught me balance. And obviously I wanted to play hockey. And but my dad worked with Ken Atkins. And
Yeah.
Ken was like, well, bring him down to the gym.
So where was your dad working at?
At the time, he was working at Smyrna, right here, where they cut the grass and whatever it's called, the Smyrna something.
Yeah.
And Ken was the police officer. So they were good friends, and he was telling my dad about, I guess, the boxing gym. He brought me down there, and
in Laverne or
in the one in Laverne.
Okay.
So that's where I started when I was 7, and my dad.
You were 7.
I was 7 years old.
Wow.
I started playing football when I was 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played football when I was 4. I started baseball when I was 5.
So your
boxing
dad
when I was 7.
motivated you a lot?
My dad, I had heard a video of my dad he didn't want girls. He wanted boys, but he wanted to raise champions. So almost like my book, Bred to Fight.
Yeah.
So,
Was your dad kind of a hard guy?
Yes. My dad was, and that was one reason I wanted to write the book, because my dad was extremely abusive. Losing wasn't an option. That's why out of all my amateur fights, I only lost, I think 8 or 9 maybe, because anytime I would lose a fight, once I got home, I'd get beat half to death.
Really?
Yes, and a lot of people didn't know that, and this is something that, as I was young, I was sworn to secrecy, even down to my mom didn't really know, because a lot of the bruises and the lashes and everything from either my neck down to my calves.
Oh, you got physically hit?
Oh, I got beat with a police-issued belt, a paddle. Anything slapped. I got abused. Yes, it was since I was 4.
Did Carrie know a little bit about that?
Carrie did not know. I had to talk to Carrie about it once, my dad had passed. I was trying to really.
And how old were you when he passed?
I was 30. I was 36. I was 30.
Yeah.
I was 36. No, I lied to you. I was 33 because my son was born when I was 30, and my son was 3 years old when he had passed away, and my mom just recently passed away 2 years ago, right before Christmas, which I absolutely broke my heart.
Yeah.
She was my rock. She was everything to me.
Now, how old are you now?
I'm 45.
45.
And
You
getting
graduated
younger.
Riverdale in 2000?
Yes, sir.
And you went to Smyrna?
I went to Smyrna my freshman, sophomore year, and then I finished in Murfreesboro at Riverdale my junior, senior year.
Did you ever get paddled by Mr. Rakes?
I did not.
You didn't?
I like Mr. Rakes. Mr. Rakes would always pick me up and take me to Vanderbilt games
Did he
on
really?
a Saturday. Yeah, he was close to me, so I really had a lot of respect for.
So mentors matter to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I'd always learn from them. They'd always teach me things the old school way. You see that people today trying to cut corners and doing it the new school way, and cutting corners is not always the easiest road. Sometimes you got to dig your heels in.
Now, did you play youth football at Smyrna?
I did. Coach Carter. Like I said, I started playing football when I was 4.
Well,
Pee Wee. I played 2 years Pee Wee.
Coach Carter? You knew Coach Carter?
I did.
I was just with his son at church earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just talking about his.
Yeah, tell him.
I forgot his son's name. Jeremy, you know him?
You talking about DJ Carter?
Is it DJ's brother? He was right. I was just asking him about his dad.
Yeah,
name escapes me.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Well, I used to
either.
coach at Una Pee Wees back in the day.
Huh?
Una, was that y'all's big rival?
Yep.
I used to
Una
coach
Bears.
at Pee Wees back in the day.
Okay.
Now my son back then, they called him Hitman, and everybody was after. But he passed away. I guess it'd be 6 years old.
Oh wow. Yeah.
The age of you. He's
right.
45.
Well, I've been down here now 4 days, and believe it or not, my buddy was telling me about a lot of kids that we went to school with had passed away. Younger than me, by drugs or alcohol, and a lot of it.
Sad.
And it is sad. It's a waste of life.
I've had a niece and 2 nephews and my son in the last 3 years has passed away of drugs.
Wow.
And 3 of them on my wife's side. Okay, but my son, like I said, that was like I said, it'd be 6 years December.
Wow.
And he probably played against you.
Oh, I'm sure they did. When I going through my mom's old stuff, she had kept a letter that somebody's mom had wrote from the Una Bears to me, saying how they were going to kick my butt the next time we play them because we
it wasn't my son.
I know that, but it was just funny. I actually have the letter framed in my office. I'm like, people were trying to kick my butt when I was like 5 years old. What did I do to everybody?
Well, Smyrna and Una were really good teams. They had the best programs around.
Oh, they did.
They really did feeder programs. They feed them into college and all.
Right.
So
our group was. We stayed together through Pee Wee, through middle school. We went undefeated as a Panther, and then that same group went to Smyrna High School. I played varsity ball my freshman year. I lettered, and but I was playing every position. I was playing iron ball my freshman, sophomore year. And my freshman year, you know, as varsity, we won 2 games maybe, and you know, the sophomore year wasn't even much worse. And so my dad, you know, obviously he didn't like losing at no cost. So he was looking at Riverdale. Oh, they just won a state championship. You know, we're going to move to Murfreesboro, but we're going to tell everybody it's because of my dad's health. We're going to move closer to hospitals. But the truth was he couldn't stand losing. And so we went to Riverdale and still lost. So.
Well, how do you take, you know, speaking of losing, I mean, I'm sure you've lost a few fights. How did you handle that?
Well, you know, handle it like after.
You know, just I guess emotionally. And, you know, I was watching a Tyson fight the other day, and, you know, and sometimes I'll watch some of these little videos, and a couple of them are very touching with his, I guess you say, mentor, father figure, Cus D'Amato, and how he influenced him. But, you know, just taking a loss. I mean, we always talk about the wins, but, you know, you'll see. I mean, we got some elections coming up. Some people are going to have some hurt feelings.
Right.
You know, some people are going to lose. You know,
and that's just part of it, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, it happens, and I know that. But you know, growing up with my dad, it was just. I remember I even had a T-shirt made of it. I had lost a junior national championship, and we were driving back, and I had second place. And he had told me, he's like, you know, don't get too excited. Second place is just the first loser. And that haunted me my entire life. So when I was an athlete, a professional, I had a T-shirt made on the front chest of it. You know, second place is just the first losers. You know, I always had my work ethic was untouchable. Like if somebody had a goal they set, I would set mine so high that no one could reach it but myself. And still today, I still try to do that. And but losing was always hard for me just because of the way I was raised. And but it's not, you know, I don't lose much these days. You know, I have my 14-year-old son Gavin, nicknamed Gator. So
really?
He's got a grip. Did you shake his hand?
Yeah.
Shake his hand. Go out there and shake it.
He was actually nicknamed Gator by Evander because he was like, where there's a swamp, there's got to be a gator. Because everyone would call me Swamp or Swamp Donkey. A lot of them didn't even know my real name. So
I was telling Kara the day, you know, one of the areas that I've tried to stress as a state representative is the area of positive mentorships. Because you look at the lack of fathers in our culture today. Nobody talks about this. I mean, I doubt if it was a pastor preached a sermon on lack of fathers, and you look at the link to incarceration, like Rutherford County, we're trying to build a $360 million jail. Go back and just do a survey on how many of those guys came from broken homes, women came from broken homes. And I see all these lobbyists running around Nashville. We got, and I hate to get on a rant, Roger, but now we got taxpayers paying for lobbyists. This is where this country's going to HELL, and everybody is silent.
Right.
Nobody speaks up, you know. And if you do, they think you're a troublemaker,
right?
You know. But our forefathers had a lot more fight in them than what we got today. But it burdens my heart when we see, because I got grandkids, you know. And when you see what they're facing, when our own kids can't even afford to buy a home today,
right?
Can't even afford to rent a home,
right?
And it's like, where are we going as a nation? And the area of, like, your father, even though your father was hard, you still got a lot of value from how he disciplined you and taught you.
Oh, I mean, it definitely did. But I, as a father myself now, I broke that chain. You know, I'm sure that my dad raised me how he was raised, and you know,
did you ever meet your grandfather?
I did. Well, my step grandfather, I did, and Clyde, he actually went to a lot of fights that I sent him to. He went to Germany with me. He's been all over the world. He passed away a couple of years ago. So I mean, he raised me how he was being raised, and I promised myself that I would not raise my son the same way. I don't, you know, I came out with a book. At a time I had a drinking issue. I didn't start drinking alcohol until I was 26. And then, you know, once I retired, you know, I put on 200 plus pounds. And, you know, I felt I felt sorry for myself. Everything that happened to me was because of somebody else, because I didn't want to own it. And until I hit rock bottom, then I started owning it. And then, you know, like you were just saying a minute ago with today's society, I tell my son every day, you just have to be a little bit savage and you can run things around here. I'm not saying that everything has gone soft, but it is not nearly as hard as it used to be when we were younger. I mean, we stood for something then. You know, now it's, you know, whoever can yell at you on the internet or this or that. You know, it's like nobody wants to be held accountable anymore, and that's what we're lacking is accountability.
You ever been involved in Celebrate Recovery or been to any of those meetings before?
I have. When I first tried to once I tried to stop, you know, drinking alcohol, I actually went to.
So you quit at 26. You said you'd start.
No, I didn't start till 26, and I was even in a fraternity. I was a Pike, and I never drank alcohol. They never expected it because I was a fighter as well, and I didn't have my first drink till I was 26.
Are you a mean? You get drunk, you get mean?
You know, I was a goofy drunk, but it was when I got older. I guess I would tell everybody I'm drinking to make my demons go to sleep, because it was just you know, it was something all the time. But when I did eventually hit rock bottom, you know, it was the best and the worst thing could have happened to me, because I tell everybody that I walked through hell and I was just gracious my legs still worked.
Yeah.
And
did you ever get arrested or anything?
No, I never got arrested. I have actually I've been arrested one time, and it is nothing that I did. It
sounds like me.
No, I mean, but this was legit. Well, no, it really wasn't my fault. My neighbor came over to my house drunk and wanted to beat me up because for some reason he had this asphyxiation in his head that he wanted to beat up a world champion. Okay. And was yelling at my wife. I was in the bed taking a nap and came out, and she had the door locked, and don't go out there. You know, he's acting crazy, and you know, this is my house. You know, I don't. This is the lion's den. I don't know this guy. So I open the door. He grabs me by the throat and says he's gonna kill me. And you know, I was just talking to him. I had a plan. I was gonna lure him outside my garage, and then and about 40 seconds later, he wound up with a cracked eye socket.
Oh,
wow!
But what got me in cuffs? I mean, I was defending my property.
Who called the law?
I think the neighbor across the street, because she had seen it.
Bunch of narcs.
Well, the problem is by the time he got back up and I threw this guy in my yard, the cops are rolling up, and I'm walking to my front door. I'm like, get off my property. I'm walking front door. Well, they jump over him, and they point guns at me, and I turn around. I'm like, go arrest him. This is my property. And as soon as I turned my back, I got tased 6 times.
Really?
Oh, I rode the lightning. So I got tased 6 times. I got beat up by 6 officers.
Really?
And they broke a rib.
Really?
They cracked a sternum, broke a rib.
Were you fighting back?
I was not fighting back, but this is when I was almost 400 pounds. I mean, I was a big guy.
Were they hitting you and saying, quit resisting?
No,
quit resisting?
I remember, I mean, by this time, after he shot me in the neck with a taser, I mean, I lost it. He jumped on my back, and I threw him in my landscape, and I was like, this is on. You know, you're not going to tase me on my property and get away with it. And you're just like, I don't, no one makes me bleed my own blood anymore.
Yeah.
And it was probably the worst thing I could have done. So, but I did get arrested, and then the chief of police came and personally apologized to me. He said that he heard it would happen. The officer was out of line and let me out, and with no charges, nothing like that. And obviously,
so you never went to jail?
No. Well, I sat in the cell by myself, and they put him in a crowd with a bunch of whatever they were in over there. And I remember a window, and this guy, you know, he kept looking at me and doing these heart signs and like, I love you and all this. And honestly, I mean, this dude's out of his mind. And I'm looking at him, if I ever felt like a caged tiger, and all I could do was just, my eyes were just following back and forth. And I was like, if I get my hands on you, you're not breathing anymore.
Wow.
Like, you caused this.
Did you ever see that interview? I think Mike Tyson, one of the guys, was that British boxer that had been taunting him or something.
What was it? Brigsley.
He kept talking
Shane
smack,
Brigsley.
and then he's seen him out
Shannon
of the
Briggs.
club or something. And
Shannon Briggs.
Tyson beat
Let's
him
go,
up.
champ. Let's go, champ. Yeah. Tyson
And
beat
he
him
had
up.
those sunglasses on. They interviewed him, and he took the sunglasses. He had a big old black eye. Man, it was funny, you know.
Yeah. But no, that was that was fun. Not really.
I'm a big fan of Evander Holyfield. I was watching the fight that night where he beat Tyson. But you know, Tyson's a likable guy. I mean, from what I see,
is. I mean, everybody they always see the bad part of him, but you know, he's like us. We have good days and bad days, but like I said, I liked him. He was a great mentor. Obviously, Evander Holyfield was a whole lot because Evander was just a different person. It was a completely different environment.
Well, Tyson, one of the interviews he talks about how his mentor he'd be stealing and robbing, and then go hide out and hang out with Customato, and then he would talk to him, kind of mentor him to kind of keep him off the streets and all. But he probably would have easily went to prison and could have been dead. Died in prison.
And he could have if it wasn't for him. I mean, he was his mentor. I mean, he meant a lot to him. I mean, he didn't have anybody else. But a lot of these fighters, they come from nothing. Like I was raised poor. Like I remember my dad raised me to where, anything you get, you got to get yourself. I remember I had to buy my own first car, and that's why anything that I have today, I hold it precious because I know how hard it is to have to work for something. Nothing's ever been given to me. And if it was given to me, some of it made me feel bad about it. Oh, you remember when I did that for you, and that's why now I don't like to accept gifts from anybody because mentally I feel like they're gonna make me feel bad about it. So I'm a giver, and I don't, I'd rather give you something than receive anything from anybody. And that's just the way I've been.
Well, it looks like you're in good shape now. So
I'm
stay in the gym.
Well, I used to be on that slim slow diet, and I kind of figured that out. So no, I'm in better shape now. I'm trying to maintain, because I got a very promising future, hopefully. So,
yeah. So you're thinking about a comeback?
I'm thinking about it. I've got to get 100% healed first. And I've been told that if I come down to cruiserweight or light heavyweight within 4 fights, I'll fight for another world title. So, and if I was to win the world title, I'd either be the second or the thirdest oldest champion in the world. So
you looking for some corner men right here?
Hey, some smart partners.
I couldn't climb up there.
How was Foreman when he
50
lost?
He was 50 when he won it, and then Bernard Hopkins was 47 when he had won.
And you're 45.
I'm 45, so I'm looking at another year and a half. So we're looking at 46, 47. So I'll either tie it or be right under it or above it. I don't know. I'm just not quite sure, but none of this happens until I'm completely healed.
On your book, let's talk about your book real quick.
Please, yes, sir.
Yeah, tell us why you wrote it.
I wrote my book because I want it to be informational. The book is designed for athletes that are going through an abusive stage by their parents, and it's for parents that are being abusive. And it's funny, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I was telling him about the book, and he looked distraught, like he was mad about it. And I look at him as like, well, if you're mad about it, it's because you're like it. Maybe you're just like the book. Maybe you need to make a change. It's my dad was abusive, and in every he made life very difficult for me. Yes, it was a lesson learned. And he made me tough, but it was what it was back then. I'm just trying to help athletes and parents today. That's
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I went through. Writing a book really brought up a whole lot of memories that I had stuffed in that cave and forgot about for a long time. But I had the time to write it. I had gotten injured at work, and I had to have 3 surgeries. So it took me a year to write the book, and it's the best thing. It's the best therapy I could have done.
I was fixing to ask you about therapy.
Yep, it was the best therapy.
Writing is therapy.
It is. It is. And at first, when I started writing it, it brought up so many memories. And I had to start talking to a therapist because of what it was. I just felt overwhelmed. I didn't. Bringing all this back, I was like, wow, I guess I really just kind of put it back there and forgot about it. But, the biggest thing is, even with the drinking, my sister April, she died 2 years ago. They found her on the couch, unresponsive with an empty bottle of vodka. And I wished that I could go back and just talk to her for that one day and say, hey, well, how about we put the bottle down today? And that seems to be the biggest problem with today's society is, the drinking and the drugs and everything else is, you're limiting your life. I mean, you shouldn't do anything that's going to take numbers off. We're all given a certain amount of numbers on this planet. Why do something when it's going to take numbers from your life? The game plan is to have more. I would love to live to 200 years old, you know, or at least 120. I mean, my grandfather just turned my mom's dad just turned 96 years old.
Really?
And you would think he looks like he's in his 70s.
Wow.
And that's, you know, my dad died when my son was 3. I've made my son a promise. I want to play with your kids one day.
Amen.
You know, that's where I'm at. That's where my mental state of mind is, you know, I'm trying to prolong. I want to live as long as I can on this planet and help as many people as I can.
Yeah, the book of Proverbs says a wise man leaves an inheritance to children.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and that always doesn't always have to be money.
No,
you know?
it's not. You know, it's with my son. He's my best friend, and you know, and I had to find that sweet center, I guess, of being a best friend and a father too. You know, I had to know the difference, because sometimes I'm like, oh, don't worry about that. But now, you know, now it's like, okay, you're trying to cross the line because you know we're best friends, but I still got to be your father too.
Yeah.
So you know, my son knows that I love him. I say it to him every day. My dad never said it to me. I even when I was writing my book, I had called my best friend, David Marshall. He is by far my brother. I love him like that.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, man, you've never lied to me. Do you ever remember my dad telling me he loved me?
Yeah.
Because I don't. And he said, Adam, I wouldn't lie to you. Honestly, I can't ever recall him saying
I think
he loves
that
you.
generation is just a little different.
Right.
I mean, I'm in the same. My dad was World War II.
Right.
I'm
My
sure
dad's
Roger's dad,
Vietnam, yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I think they thought that was weakness.
And I think so,
You know?
and what do you always say? Weakness is just pain leaving the body.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard all those stories, and, you know, rub some dirt on it, you know, and I got, you know, I probably need stitches after I cleaned the dirt out of it, you know, but it was what it was back then, you know, and I'm just trying to live different now. You know, I give my son hugs. He knows I love him. And it's just different. You know, being an athlete tore me and my father's relationship apart. After I retired when I was 30, I didn't talk to my dad, you know, I didn't talk to him after my world title fight because of the actions that was taking place in Berlin, Germany. And we didn't talk for 2 years. We didn't talk till my son was born.
Yeah.
And that really...
So how many years was that?
It's about 2-3 years before he was born, and then he died 3 years later.
Yeah.
So it's like we made things right, and then he died. You're like, what kind of life is that? You know,
I know.
It don't make a lick of sense.
You know how many people can relate to that?
I bet.
My dad I didn't speak for about 6 or 8 years. I remember trying to go by and see him one day, and he said, "I'll blow your head off," and he acted like he had a gun. I mean, he was World War II. He just didn't play around. I think he had probably a lot of trauma seeing his comrades shot and killed and that sort of thing.
And you're absolutely right. I asked my dad one time, I was like, what because he was in Vietnam. He had a couple tours in Vietnam. And I was like, what was it like? And he just said, you don't want to ever know what I had to see and what I had to experience. And that was it. That was it. And I asked another military man, you know, he had said that the bad ones don't ever talk about it. They just hold it in. And I couldn't imagine, you know, what they're going through, but it's still no excuse, you know, to be abusive either.
Yeah.
You know, if you know you got a problem, get help with it. You know?
Well, that's where if my dad was never he came to church when we were taking care of him, but that's why it's important to minister to these guys, to reach them, and it may be you that needs to reach them. And you know, I often there's certain people I pray for, and I say, Lord, bring the right people to minister, because I may not be that right person,
right?
You know, and if my dad would have been a Christian, he'd have been such a better father. I mean, he was married 5 times, but that's where I think the faith and forgiveness, because when you hold on to bitterness, I remember my dad talking about something that happened 40 years ago, and I was just a kid thinking, Dad, y'all let that go. I didn't dare tell him that.
Right.
But man, sometimes you just got to let it go.
Right.
You know, and not worry about it.
I mean, because it's going to give you, it's going to kill you. It's going to, the stress, the blood pressure. I mean, you're walking around. I mean, you're a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's, you could see it on his face. He was just ready to go off on somebody. And like Snow White, and I was like that, and you know, until I knew there needed to be a life change. And
sometimes you just got to chill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just let it go.
Yeah, you got to let it go, and just, you know, you forgive them, but if you know, sometimes
and forgiveness isn't weakness,
and it's not weakness. You know, it's, you know, I've forgiven tons of people, but then I just don't have anything else to do with them. You know, it's just sometimes, you know, the Lord, you know, He gives you the ability to protect yourself at all causes. You know, you forgive people.
You know, I happened to see a guy coming in. I happened to see he's a billionaire, Governor Bill Haslam. They spent $200,000 trying to smear me, bump me off about 10 years ago, I happened to see him at Jim Tracy's funeral, and I didn't even approach him, go talk to him, shake his hand. Everybody shake his hand. And I just thought, well, that's part of his legacy. They tried to knock off about 9 of us conservatives because we literally asked for the Commissioner of Education to step down, but half the school superintendent signed a letter saying he wasn't qualified. So then they retaliated against, and I knew who it was. The Lord told me who it was. People are like, how do you know this? I'm like, I can just sense it, man.
Right.
Steve Gill, you know Steve Gill's radio.
Yep.
He goes, dude, they spent $200,000 against you, man. But that's their legacy. The problem with billionaires, they want another billion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But this is where God's got a plan. My mother used to tell me, if the Lord's for you, ain't nobody can be against you.
Oh, right.
And that's why faith is so important. Well, Swamp Donkey, I appreciate you coming
Yes,
up,
sir.
Adam Richards, and I appreciate you coming up sharing your book, and maybe we'll have you back up next
Yes, sir.
next couple of months, okay?
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate being on the show, and y'all stay blessed up.
Well, you got such a great attitude,
Yes, sir.
and you got a great mentor. And we're talking about Ken Atkins. Ken's had some struggles.
Yep.
And I wrote a column about Ken of the Day, Tennessee Ledger, folks, and check it out. And Ken on the when he fought Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Thomas Hitman Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was always a great mentor. I mean, he showed me the ropes. I still look up to him. I mean,
Yeah.
I just seen him the other day. I seen him yesterday at the fights, and I was like, hey, don't beat me up. Don't beat me up, you know? So, I mean, it's just a great amount of respect.
See, Ken, and I know people may not believe this. I literally got set up by a bad cop when I was 17. I mean, I really did. And he was directing traffic. When I pulled up, he just drops his hand and just gives me a cold stare. So I sat there. I finally drove left, and they calls in a backup, blows whistle, and Ken Atkins pulled in. Ken said, what'd you do? I said, well, the cop wouldn't give me direction. Well, I shared this story at probation parole when I was speaking up for Justin Bashir, trying to get his felony lifted. And I was telling them I had a mentor. My mentor was Sally Walls, lived next door to me. So I told Sally knew I was straight up and honest. And she said, let me see that ticket. Let me see who wrote you that ticket. I handed her the ticket. You know what she says? She looked at the ticket. She said, that dude's a bad cop. He's a bad cop. Sally Walls said that.
She was a commissioner back then.
Oh,
Yeah,
I knew Sally Walls
and
personally,
Sally,
too.
well, Ken told me he later got let go. I think his last name was Scott. I don't know if he still lives in the community or not. But anyways, if I wouldn't have had that mentor, I ended up preaching at a funeral. If I didn't have that mentor, I probably could have been on the wrong side of the law. And that's why reaching these young guys and gals in a positive way matters. We all need somebody that believes in us, man. And you've had carry forward other mentors.
Yes, sir.
Even though you had a tough relationship with your dad, thank God you had a dad that instilled that discipline in you.
Right. I mean, and you know, the good parts of it, you know, yes sir, no sir. You know, the country raising, that's exactly how I've raised my son. You know, and we need more of that today.
Yeah. Amen. We do.
We need more, like you said, we need more, you know, prayers in the school. We need a lot of things to come back like they used to be.
Well, thank you, Adam, for
Yes,
joining
sir.
us. Connor, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available at select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Hello, I'm Roger, one of the tour guides at Sam Davis Home, 1399 Sam Davis Road in Smyrna. To learn more about Sam Davis, Smyrna's boyhood hero, we offer tours Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. No reservations required. To book a wedding, creek house rental, field trip, or any other event, contact Jenny Lamb, our director, at director@samdavishome.org. Visit our Facebook page or give us a call at 615-459-2341.
All right. I was hoping we could play some Village People again, but sadly, I guess that's out, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
You and the East Fork boys and your Village People can't play music no more.
What?
Sad times. Anyways, I know Brian's listening right now. You know, I wish we could get some like unofficial version we could play.
Why don't you just do a homegrown version? You know, get some of your buddies and y'all do it. That would sound pretty good. I think that'll do good.
Yeah.
We used to do that in gym at the
There you go.
elementary school.
Here's somebody help you
And
right here. Here's a singer.
They played the record, and we had to do all the.
Well, let me introduce you.
Lines, yeah.
Chuck Isbell. Chuck, you running for school board.
Yep, Zone 1, which is County Commissions 5, 11, and 12.
Yeah, and why are you running?
I went through the primary process. I felt like I could do better than the person that was there. I won the primary. All this really started almost 6 years ago when I lost my son and had some difficulties with that and tried to get some safety stuff done at the school board and stuff, and other people didn't want to do it. And it's one of the main things I want to push.
You know, somebody was telling me the other day, they're like, man, have you seen how many hit and runs there were in Nashville?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really think about these things, but it really is pretty dangerous.
My group for Families for Safe Streets, we helped Robert Stevens this year pass Jimmy's Law.
Yeah.
For a woman named Kim Webb who lost her son. His name was Jimmy. And it's mandatory sentencing for hit and run drivers that lead to a fatality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is going to be a big step.
Well, one thing that's a bigger step, and I think you've been trying to do it, is let's prevent things before they happen.
Right. And then we had this, Tim Rudd brought up the super speeder bill for us for Families for Safe Streets. It made it through the legislature, and then it died in the Senate a little bit. It got pushed off to next year. So it's going to come back up, and that's going to be a good thing because it's kind of like the interlock device you get for a DUI, but what it does, it goes in your car as a governor.
Does any of the states pass that?
Oh, yeah, a lot of states have passed
Have
it.
they?
I think I want to say it's like 15 states now. It passed in quite a few states this last year. But what it does is the things that you would normally lose your license for, 20 miles over speed limit, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If you're over 18, 12 points on your license. Under 18, 6 points, and there's always a fifth thing. I can't ever think of what it is, but I think it's reckless driving. But you will lose your license. Instead of losing your license, you get this device. It governs your speed on your vehicle, and then speed limit's 35. You can't go over 35. And if you're compliant with the program for a year, it comes off, and it's no cost to taxpayers because you have to pay the fines and the fees just like you do the interlock device for DUI. Except for the DUI, you have to get that before you're found guilty.
Yeah.
This is you can do this in lieu of losing your license.
Okay. I think we got a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, Mike Sparks.
Hey, boy, you sound familiar. How you doing?
I'm good. I've just been out checking all the children, all my signs today.
I've been seeing all your signs. You got that big one over there towards Bumpus Harley, the old GE plant on the right.
Yeah.
This is the biggest one I've seen.
But remember, signs don't vote. If you care about your community, you should get out and vote.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're running for re-election, city council.
I'm running for re-election for city council. I'm actually running also for state executive committee. I'm just calling in to remind everybody to vote, get out and vote, vote for the candidate of your choice.
It's very important.
Vote early.
Yeah.
Vote early if you can, but do not vote often. They only do that in Chicago.
Well, I know we don't have a lot of time, but one thing I appreciate about you, Austin, one, you're a true patriot, warrior. You've seen some comrades lose their life, but you lost a son a few years ago to some of the drug problem, and I appreciate you and your wife Clara's passion for helping others, man.
He would have been 32 today, Mike.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know where he's at, and I know where we will see him again.
Amen. I remember being at the funeral. Well, thank you, brother, for calling in, and good luck on your re-election, Austin.
Thanks, Mike, and good luck to Chuck and all the candidates out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Austin.
Well, Chuck, we don't have a lot of time, but speaking of loss, how did you deal with your own loss in life with your son?
I buckled. I didn't break, but I buckled. And the one thing I found is Families for Safe Streets in Walt Bike, Nashville, and I've been in that for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I was really lost. I found them, and then they gave me the direction to go. And as a group, we've made a lot of headway in the last year, getting recognized by the state and different things, and getting our name out there. And and that's the one thing when we have a couple memorials a year. It's the one thing I tell everybody: don't turn it inward, because that's where you get destructive in your life. What you need to do is find something to plug into.
Amen.
It doesn't have to be safety, but find something to dump your energy into.
It's like Avery Kelleher. I had him up at the Capitol this year. He found his daughter literally hung in her own bedroom last year, and he's found some relief with trying to be an advocate like that. Chuck Isbell run for re-election, running for election for school board.
And the next school board person right here, he'll get it. Chuck's a good guy. If you know Chuck, he'll get it. He's a good guy, man.
I know you've been working hard, bro. You've been through a lot, but I know you're working hard.
It's still coming.
Yeah, folks, we'll see you next week.